Hey everyone, it's Anna,
And Allie.
back to discuss the world of Gen AI in today's business landscape. So here again, we're going to be discussing Gen AI, nuances of the business world, and all the stuff in between.
So if you're a tech enthusiast, a business leader, or just someone looking to pass the time, you're in the right place.
Today, though, we want to go a bit through Gen AI, some of its details, and also go through some of the intricacies related to it, as well as how we're seeing it be used in today's day and age. So we wanted to go ahead and get started with describing what Gen AI is. Everyone's talking about it, everyone's excited about it, but people tend to get it confused with just typical AI, which has been around for quite a while. Gen AI is a bit on the newer side. So typically it's called Gen AI. It's a subset of AI. And basically, it's really focused on creating new content like text, images, videos, all that sort of fun stuff based on user prompts. And so, a general rule of thumb is if it's an AI system that generates content, it's classified as Gen AI. So, within Gen AI, there's quite a lot going on there too. So, it's not just Gen AI as a whole, right? It's not just that one thing. There's also a lot of stuff in between that we're going to go into as well. So, where I wanted to kind of get started here is go a little bit deeper into what an LLM is. So, large language models, pizzazzy name, fun stuff, very long, so we're going to call it an LLM. And this is basically a type of Gen AI. So it basically is deep learning to understand, generate, and also manipulate human language. So it's trained on large data sets, looks at patterns, context, language nuances, all that sort of fun stuff. So it can help perform various tasks along the lines of like generating text based on prompts, translating between languages, summarizing documents. The uses are really endless, and it can really help businesses as well with its capabilities. So utilizing LLMs is really, really good for creating content, providing customer support, enhancing communication. And we're seeing it be used already all around the world, especially in the retail sector. I think we're really seeing an influx there. So definitely really big. But then within LLMs, there's also something called a local LLM. And these run directly on local hardware instead of through the cloud. So this really offers enhanced data privacy to keep sensitive information for yourself, customize options to adapt the model to specific tasks, as well as faster response times as it kind of holds back on any cloud delays. And then also offline functionality, which who can complain there, right? Utilize it when you can. So I think it's pretty
Hmm.
great. All right, so that's a little bit about what Gen AI is, specifically with LLMs. But I'm going to pass it over to you, Allie, because we want to go a bit more into agentic AI. So you've been doing a lot on that side as well. So I'd love to kind of hear your
Yes.
thoughts about what it is, how it's being utilized. Go ahead.
Yeah, totally. So agentic AI is another really cool form of generative AI. You're going to hear it, used a lot lately, also referred to as agents. So if someone's building out an agent, they're referring to it as agentic AI. So basically, agentic AI is designed to make decisions and act autonomously without direct human intervention, which is always great. You don't have to go into it
Mm,
every time you want something done. It's an automated process. Agents are developed and fine-tuned to meet specific user needs. So when someone like our company at Airtobe is developing an agent, we are listening to our clients' wants, needs, requests, tasks that need to be done, and we're developing our agent, and then along the process, fine-tuning it to carry out those tasks efficiently, effectively, just making that process kind of flow the best it can. So we grant access to our agents to specific resources that allow them to carry out specific tasks efficiently and effectively. So for instance, if you were trying to do lead generation, we can assign our agent to the internet, Google specifically, your CRM platform, Sales Navigator, things of that nature, where it'll scour all that information provided from that resource that you gave it access to pump out some type of output and whatever you want that to be. So that's pretty much everything going on in the agentic space right now. You'll probably hear a lot more about that, and that kind of wraps up the two main focuses in the Gen AI space for now.
I think agents are really cool, honestly. I mean, you think about all the time saving you can see here for companies, saving so much money too, right? So I think it's going to be really, really huge. But I think it's all about kind of figuring out how to utilize it in your company, right? That's where a lot of companies I think are kind of struggling. They want to take that dive, right? They want to go for it, but it's kind of hard to figure out where to
Hmm.
even get started. So one question I have for you is on the use case side. So how are you seeing people utilize Gen AI within their organizations to kind of make things a lot easier for themselves in terms of like the functionalities of a company?
So we use cases for generative AI very widely by industry and function. It's very, niche to the needs of a company, niche to the needs of an industry, things of that nature. We
Mhm.
provide use case development support by helping businesses identify and prioritize use cases. It's a very scary space to get into as well as exciting. So we'd like to sit down with our clients, make sure we understand their needs and explain the process and the road ahead. So I first want to dive into marketing use cases, as I feel like that could apply to so many different people, so many different industries, so many different companies. First and foremost, our generative AI services can enhance ideation and creativity for various projects, no matter what you're trying to do. With that, it'll cut down on your, time and cost for generating that short and long-term content. It'll improve audience research, segmentation, and customization. And lastly, it'll enable tailored messaging for specific target groups. So anything that you're going to take time and sit down and discuss that as a team to whether your plan or the outcomes and things of that nature, we're cutting down on that time and cost. You don't have to keep paying people to sit down and think about what target audience you're trying to reach and analyzing the outcomes of your marketing initiatives and things of that nature. So overall, it's a huge time saver, a huge cost-effective option to your marketing. Okay, so next up, I want to really discuss business reporting, as I feel like every type of industry, every type of company is doing some type of reporting on the business end of things, being able to, measure how things are going on in a company and if what you're doing is working. So first and foremost, our generative AI, we can implement agent-based metrics across sales, quality cost, customer service, scheduling, and so many more aspects. We can also support self-service. It's prompt-based inquiries for metrics and performance. Next up would be we can provide access to KPIs and trends for both structured and unstructured data. And lastly, we can automate compliance and auto reports generation for streamlining these, processes along the way. So overall, with our business reporting, a lot of it's done manually. A lot of it's very time consuming to get answers that you want right away. You're going to have to send that information off, get it gathered, get it analyzed, and get a result. And that might take a little bit. So if we can automate that process, put in some type of, inquiry and get an answer out in a matter of seconds, you're going to save so much time and get so much more work
Yeah.
done.
No, absolutely. And I mean, I think hearing what you're saying too on the whole, like just saving time, I think
Hmm.
that's the biggest part of it, right? And so I guess my question for you too, Ali, is that since you're kind of newer to this space here on the Gen AI side, how do you feel about it? Are you excited? Like, what's your perception about it? And has it changed at all since you kind of started?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think generative AI for me is a concept that I really didn't know a whole lot about before getting into the industry. Um, Kind of to a point you made earlier in the podcast today, AI is different from generative AI. Generative AI is a subset of AI. So every time you hear AI, I always kind of put it in the same category for everything. I thought about robots and these really undeveloped chatbots that were never giving me the correct answer.
Yeah.
So getting into this industry and being able to see the real capabilities of what we can do has been amazing. And it really wants me to get these people involved. I mean, so many people
Yeah.
hear about generative AI and they probably want to implement it in their business, but who knows where to start? When you don't know about something like this, it's hard to know where to start. You don't want to waste money, you don't want to waste time, you don't want to set aside time for something that you're not going to see any type of turnaround on. So
Of course.
that's why we kind of created the podcast. I'm really excited to inform anybody listening, our future clients, people who are just interested in what we do on the generative AI space, kind of inform your readiness, get started into it, and kind of see how you can take off from there. So yeah, I'm really excited to see kind of the world of Gen AI and what's to come for it.
Sure. No, absolutely. I think that's a great answer. You kind of hit on it too. I mean, this podcast here, we're going to cover so much different stuff, right? And she kind of gave you a teaser there for some upcoming topics in terms like kind of figuring out your readiness and kind of
Hmm.
planning it out, right? Figuring out when is the right time to implement Gen AI, how do you kind of go about that? So, little sprinkler in there for something fun happening in the future. Okay, so I think that's all I wanted to cover in today's podcast. Some really good stuff that we went over. So thank you so much, Ali, for being here with me today. Are you all good to go from your side?
Yeah, I think we're all set for today. So, on that note, I wanted to thank everyone for tuning into today's episode. I really hope you got some good information out of it and you're starting to further your education on the generative AI space. Gen AI is really reshaping the business world and the future, looks exciting for us. So, if you enjoyed today's discussion, feel free to look into our website for more content and tune into our next episode.